Crag chat.
Crag chat.
Crag chat.
We have to work on the intro.
Yeah, we definitely do. I don't know if I showed you the intro that I like. I'll have to show you the intro for it.
The animation.
I showed it. Yeah. So
I like the animation. We have to figure out our,
we'll figure it out.
How we're gonna say.
Crag chat. That sounded like Blue's Clues.
I
like
think so.
Crag chat.
Or
chat.
Dora.
Dora.
Like that.
Because like on the backpack.
Yes, on the backpack or the map.
Snapchat. Snapchat. Backpack.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And then swiper no swiping.
Yeah. So, anyways, welcome to Crag Chat. This is going to be a video-based podcast.
Yes.
But you don't have to watch it. That's the thing about podcasts. You just listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2021. We're getting fancy. You know, all these new cameras are coming out. We're getting all this technology to film, and what do we want to do? Podcasts.
A podcast where you can just listen to people. But I don't know. I hear people all the time, I love to watch podcasts. I don't know why. I'll, if I'm cleaning or if I'm, cooking, I'll just, put it on the TV and, randomly I'll, see it. It feels like I have people in my house.
Yeah. I remember.
There's people there talking to me.
You're like, I'm not actually alone.
Yes.
So, I like to put podcasts on at work. So, I work as a graphic designer. You're at a desk job too, right?
Yes. At a desk job, I listen to podcasts. Sometimes, if I do, I get lost in them, so then I don't work.
My life is just, queuing up the videos and the podcasts and whatever, pretty much all climbing related.
Yeah. That
I want to watch for the day. And I do that, right when I start, and then I just, have them going throughout the day.
Do you ever switch up? You're like, wait.
I mean, I don't
go
switch
out
it.
Of queue. You see something and you're like,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. No, I'm not allowed to click on that. It's not in my queue.
That's so strict. Wow.
So, I guess what we're really saying, add Crag Chat to your podcast queue.
Your queue.
Or, if you're seeing this video and you've got a queue and you're like, oh man, should I watch this? Live a little.
Add us in. Every month.
Add us in. Crag Chat. Yeah, so we're going to be once a month starting off.
Yes.
And we're two climbers from Ohio. I have been climbing for about 4 years. I keep saying 3 years, but I realize,
this past year.
time has passed.
Actually happened.
Yeah, it actually happened.
4, wow.
Yeah, so I've been climbing for 4 years. And so Anna knows me as someone that goes outdoors every weekend. Mm-hmm. But I actually haven't gone outdoors all 4 years. So I started off climbing in California. Mm-hmm. And it was a time where I had just graduated. And I was trying to find a job. It wasn't working out. And I had a lot of time. And Jed actually got an email. My husband Jed got an email from this climbing gym that was opening up right next to us. Literally 5 minutes away. And they were $200 or $250 for a yearly membership.
Outrageous.
Yeah, it was insane. And I thought that was expensive.
Yeah.
I thought that was expensive starting off.
That's a few months.
But yeah, no, that's phenomenal because I don't know. I think we pay $1,200 at On the Rocks where we climb now as a couple.
Yeah,
but
you're right. It's $65.
A month or something like that.
And I think that's good. You get so much for it.
Yeah. And so $250 for the entire
gosh.
year.
Was it just opening? Was that what
Yeah,
it was?
it was brand new. It was just opening. So it was Hangar 18, High Desert. We lived in Victorville, California.
Okay.
And it
sounds like a cool place. By the name.
It wasn't actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save that for a future conversation because that could go on for a while. It was the middle of the desert. There wasn't a lot to do. It was 45 minutes north of LA, but anything cool you want to do, you had to drive down to LA, and it was
which probably took even longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was 45 minutes to get down and 2 hours to get back because all the rush hour traffic. But not at Hangar 18.
Not at Hangar
18. So it was mostly bouldering, and I usually, when I went there, Jed was working night shifts a lot, and so then he'd sleep during the day. So I generally went by myself. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of newer climbers, they feel intimidated going into the gym, And I remember, like, feeling a bit like that, but I also just remember, like, because there was so much bouldering, I just, like, was like, oh, what is this? I'm just gonna try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I would just go by myself a lot and boulder. Then there was, like, 2 or 3 auto belays, but it was kind of hilarious because the auto belay walls were, like, 20 or 25 feet. Like, they were, like, probably only, like, 5 feet taller than the bouldering walls.
You're like,
they were, like,
might as well boulder this.
Shorter than the kids' wall. Like, they were, like, probably a couple feet shorter than the kids'
wall.
Oh
my gosh.
It was short. It was like, I don't know why they did auto belays.
Yeah, why are these auto belays?
And then they had 5 or 6 top ropes. I don't think they had any lead.
Yeah.
And the top rope walls were pretty short too. Yeah, they were nothing like on
nothing fancy.
And the bouldering walls were wooden. So I didn't start off being able to, like, learn how to smear anything because, like, you couldn't really smear. I think had I not had that climbing gym, I would have been, like, a lot worse for wear because I was at a really hard time in my life. Like, I don't know how it was for you, but, like, when you graduated and then it was kind of like, did you kind of feel like, okay, like, I'm ready to do something, and it's like, it kind of hits you.
It's a culture shock, for sure.
It is.
Because you're not always, like, with people. You gotta go out there, meet people, like, actually work at meeting people, and...
Yeah. Like, I Googled how to make friends.
No, what did it say? Go to a climbing gym? It probably would have. Probably the 2021 list of how to make friends would be go to a climbing gym. Cause
climbing's becoming popular.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's how I made a ton of friends.
I mean, that's how I make friends now.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, how did you start climbing?
So I started climbing December, so pretty recently. So only like 7 or 8 months. Probably more on the lines of 7. But it kind of randomly happened. I kept hearing about climbing, or I even went, shout out to my failed Hinge date, but we went climbing. And
the app meant to be deleted.
Yeah, exactly, and it has been. But it never worked.
Hinge sponsor us.
Sponsored, thank you. But yeah, we went climbing, and it was a really bad choice of a second date to go climbing.
Really?
'Cause, I mean, you're not really, well, I didn't realize at the time, like, when you go and climb, like, you don't have to continue to climb a wall. Like, every time you get down, you don't have to keep climbing. I'm just like, I'm getting competitive. I'm like trying to beat this dude at like getting up the wall faster, or like getting this one when he did it. And I'm like, okay, this was a bad idea. But
and you've never been climbing before. That was like your first.
Yeah, that was my first ever experience.
So you're climbing. Like, had he been climbing before?
Yeah, he like went to that gym.
So. Wait, time out. So, did he take you climbing, like, to try and, like, impress you, do you think?
Probably, because he said he took a lot of girls climbing. I bet when the people saw me pull up to the front desk, they're like, oh, number 3 of the month, like...
Yeah. Well, you only get 2 free day passes, so, did he pay for you?
No, he didn't even.
He didn't pay
But
for
he
you?
was already a member at the gym.
Oh, because I was gonna say, maybe... I was trying to figure out what in line you were. Were you number 3? Because if you were number 1 or 2, he wouldn't even have to pay. He would just put it on my day pass, you know?
I bet I missed the cut.
He's limited to 2 a month, and the third one.
Yeah, Hinge sponsors him for his climbing dates. But no, I loved it. Like, I thought it was so fun. Obviously, that relationship didn't work out, which was totally fine. I don't know, like, everyone was so nice there. Like, we just would sit down.
And this was at On the Rocks?
No, this was at Kendall Cliffs, actually, in Peninsula, like, right at the...
Yep,
like,
I've been there.
Yeah, north of Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was, like, super nice, like, would help you, or, like, hey, you try this, or try that, whatever. And then I, like, listened to a podcast, like, not even a climbing podcast, and they had, I think, I can't even remember who was on, but... I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then I saw someone else that I had been friends with, like, a long time ago in high school. She went to On the Rocks, actually. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to try that. So then I went. I just started climbing after that. I was like, maybe this is what I'm going to do. Like maybe I'll do this. I need something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then you just started coming more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so I always remember seeing you there. I saw you like 2
Yeah.
or 3 times by yourself.
How we met.
And, okay, so, should I tell the real story?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell the real story.
So the real story...
The real reason Courtney started talking to me.
So the real story is that I have a mutual friend, she's single, and she's into girls, and I saw Anna, and I know that this mutual friend wants a girlfriend that climbs,
Yes.
and you always came by yourself, so I figured, like, oh, maybe she's single, like, I'll go wingman, you know? So I,
like, lay some groundwork,
right,
which
yeah.
you did awesome.
And I would like to say that makes me sound like a little bit of a jerk. I think, like...
You talk to everyone, though, when they come into the gym.
That's what I wanted to say. Is I do try to make it a point. Another one of our friends that recently started climbing was talking to me about how at first she felt like pretty unwelcome or like intimidated by going into the gym, and she felt like everyone kind of already had their people, and so she had already we'd had that conversation, and so after we had that conversation, I thought in my mind, like, what can I do to make that better? Because I didn't want anyone to have to feel that way. So I try to make it a really big point to at least say hi and introduce myself to every single person that comes in a gym that's new. And I know that I don't get them all, but I really do try. And that whole concept started right around the time when you were coming in. And then the secondary reason was to try and see where you're at. But you have a lovely boyfriend. So that didn't work out.
So you're like, so no? Is it a no?
So is it a no? I had a few drinks on my birthday, and Anna and I were talking. I was like, do you want to know why I came over to talk to you?
That was so funny. I didn't even know.
Yeah, and Anna was like, that's cool.
I kept wondering why you were talking about a certain person. I was like, oh, great. Like,
I was too, wasn't I?
You were so hyping it up.
I was, yeah. I was trying really hard. I was trying really hard. What can I say? I'm a good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people really have, like, this whole thing about, like, the climbing gym is for climbing. There's, like, no asking people on dates or whatever. And I think my personal opinion, and this could be a really unpopular opinion, I know Jed 100% disagrees with this. I think that as long as you're being respectful, it's totally fine to ask someone, like, on a date. And then if they say no... Like, at the climbing gym.
Yeah.
And if they say no, and just, like, don't be awkward about it or be pushy.
Yeah.
Just move on with your
life.
life.
Hey.
But if they say yes, then hey.
Yeah.
Or, like, even better yet, like, just try to become friends with them and climb with them and see if it goes anywhere.
Go spit some game at your local climbing gym and see what happens.
And maybe
Courtney approves.
Courtney approves.
Maybe it will work out. Let us know if you have met your current significant other at the climbing gym.
Yeah, because I didn't meet my current significant other at the climbing gym. I met him in college, but he is the one that got me into climbing.
Yeah.
Like, he is the one that, like I was saying, he is the one that was like, hey, we should go, because he climbed when he was younger a bit.
Yes.
A bit.
I remember him saying that.
So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if, I'm sure, because, like, you do the same things with each other. Like, you're there more than anywhere else.
Dude, we talk all the time about what if one of us didn't climb now, like, what would we do? Because that's what we do. Like,
yeah.
It'd be so weird. I'm gonna go climb. Alright, bye.
Yeah.
Like, for hours and hours. Like, our weekend's just gone the entire weekend.
Gone for 4 hours at one place. I don't know why.
Well, has Cole ever climbed?
He's been once with me. And he likes it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We've gone some, but...
Right. But it's not like, I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of has like a different dynamic. And you don't go out every weekend like we do.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's kind of like,
cool for now, but...
Yeah. So, why did we start this podcast? Tell me your perspective on this. I'm interested to know.
On the pod.
On the pod.
On the pod.
Crag chat.
Crag chat.
You put way different emphasis on it than I did. You said Crag chat.
On the chat. Emphasis on the chat.
Emphasis on the chat. Yeah, we're not at a Crag at all right now.
No.
We're on my futon.
Yeah. It's gray. It's like a rock. Well, one, we talked about this, like, there's really not a podcast, like, about climbing in the Midwest.
There isn't, except for recently.
There's more.
There's one that just started. I had the idea to make a podcast for a minute, and they literally just started. It's called Gumby Dreams.
Okay.
It's really good. You should listen to it. Anyone
Yes.
that's listening to this podcast, Crag Chat, should listen to Gumby Dreams. It's two guys over at Paradiso Climbing Gym, the new climbing gym that opened up on the east side of Cleveland.
Yes.
It's two guys, Scott and Raul are their names, and they started Gumby Dreams. I feel like they have their podcast, and we're like the female version.
Yeah. They're east side, we're west side.
We're east side, west side.
Of Cleveland. Yeah.
Right. So we got Cleveland covered.
Yes, exactly.
We just want to make sure that,
yes,
Huh.
How funny.
But yeah, so I think that's true, is like there's not a lot of there's a ton of podcasts, I feel like, in different areas, but not specifically in like Ohio, because like, let's be real, Ohio is not like a climbing mecca.
Yeah, I would say most people, when they think of Ohio, don't think of climbing. Or really the Midwest at all.
General.
They don't. But, I mean, that doesn't mean like it's getting so much more popular. People want to go outside, but they just don't know, like I didn't know that there are places to climb outside until I met you guys.
Right.
And you're like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. And it's like within Cleveland, there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 places.
Indoors, there's quite a few climbing gyms that have been opening up. There's Paradiso just opened, down in Columbus, Block Garden just opened. Medina, there used to be a couple that climbed it on the rocks quite a bit.
Okay.
They still might go, but maybe just different times that I don't go. And they were gonna open up like Medina Ledges. I don't know if that's still in the plans. And then there's Climb Cleveland, or Cleveland Climbs, something like that. I don't know. That's opening up in Cleveland pretty soon here too.
Oh, nice.
So it seems like climbing is just becoming so popular.
Yeah, and they're opening up more and more places. Like, wasn't there, what's it called in Lancaster that you guys just went to?
Oh, Flat Rocks.
Yes.
So that's an outdoor climbing crag.
Yeah.
Climbing had been kind of going on there for a while, but like it technically wasn't legal. And so the Ohio Access Coalition, they are a group that kind of like works to advocate for climbers, and they do a lot of different like fundraisers and access events and like all this stuff. They do a lot for Ohio climbing, and they kind of put on an event basically where this guy named Pete Lynch, nicest guy. I met him, and within 5 minutes of meeting him, I was like, I love this guy. Him and his buddies, shout out Pete Lynch. Him and his buddies used to climb there like 20 years ago. At Flat Rocks.
Oh, no
And this is
way.
in Lancaster?
People call it, if you're from the Lancaster area, that's what they call it for some reason.
Lancaster.
But everyone else says I can't
Lancaster.
even say it, because I knew someone from there, and she was like, no, you say it like that. But yes.
Yeah, so him and his buddies used to climb there like 20 years ago, and then I think that he said that they took like a break for a while and kind of explored different areas, and then about 5 years ago they started coming back to it and climbing and kind of developing things. So like, I don't know how much you know about like developing areas. I really don't know much, but there is like a process, like
it's not overnight
that
you can do it.
No, and just like seeing everything that's available, and then taking the time to clean everything off, and like get permission from whoever owns the land or whatever entity.
Yeah.
You need to get permission
the
from.
park or whatever.
So they finally got permission to go climb there, and it was fun. We went to climb there at the opening weekend. There was probably like 20 or 30 climbers that came out to like. We went to a restaurant and like kind of chilled and had drinks and stuff. So that was cool. And then he took us on a tour, and I actually am going to be putting up a video of that Crag tour on the channel soon.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, and if you're not a Court Climbs subscriber already, subscribler is what I call them. Mostly just because I'm a dork and saw someone misspell a word, grabbed onto that real fast.
That's such a funny, I like it.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious, but I mean, I'm always funny.
Yes. Podcasts.
I also made a typo and was like, should we call this podcast Podcats? Anna's
the
like...
Podcats climbing podcasts. Wait. The Podcats climbing podcast. But...
And I was like...
Anyways.
She's like, say that 3 times fast. I was like, since I can't, maybe we shouldn't name it that.
Wouldn't be a good... People would be like, I don't even remember the name of it.
Yeah. I listened to the podcasts. Oh, what podcasts do you listen to? What podcasts do you listen to? The podcasts.
They'd be like, no, it's called a podcast.
Yeah, they'd be so annoyed. If anyone's still even listening to this at this point, yeah, you're welcome for not naming our podcast that.
Yes.
It's Crag Chat.
Yeah, the Crag Chat.
But, yeah, no, so we went out, we took a tour. There was maybe only, like, I think 4 to 6 of us on the tour because it was kind of overcast, so it was, like, starting to maybe rain, so I think people wanted to be careful of not climbing on the rock when it's wet.
Yeah.
Because it's sandstone. A lot of the Ohio rock is sandstone, so you don't want to climb on it when it's wet. But it actually didn't really rain that much. Like, it rained for, like, maybe 2 minutes, like, sprinkled, and then it got sunny and nice. So we went out and we climbed on some of the different areas, and it was really fun. And the thing about flat rocks is, at least for my level climbing, like V2, V3-ish, a little bit V4, it was like problems that were just challenging enough where you're like, I think I can do it, but like not so challenging that you're like, I'm not gonna get it, like I'm not even gonna try. So like we literally spent like 2 hours between the 3 of us climbing on this, the same problem, and it like didn't get boring or like super frustrating. Like,
oh wow, that's fun then.
Yeah.
Like to spend that long and it not get, or usually you're like,
I'm done.
45 minutes even, you're like, okay, I'm ready. But,
Why did we start this? We kind of got off topic. We tend to do that.
Yes.
Listen.
All the time.
If you're listening to this, you're just gonna have to roll with it. But, yeah, so I guess I've always kind of wanted to be on a podcast, and then it suddenly just dawned on me one day I could make one, then I could be on it.
Seriously.
And here we are. Yeah, so I think what we can expect, or what listeners can expect from this podcast is a lot of this. Just kind of talking about Ohio climbing, different trips, different gym things. Maybe we'll get some certain segments. Yeah. Really, what anyone else wants to hear. Like, I kind of just like talk. You know, I like talking about just climbing in general.
Talk about whatever comes up. Most of it has to do with climbing.
Right. And the reason I wanted Anna on this is because she's fairly new at climbing. Like, she said she's only climbing about 7 months. I've been climbing 4 years, which I'm not saying that I know everything about climbing. I definitely don't. But there is a little bit of a like difference in opinion there potentially. I'm on climbing Reddit a lot. Are you on Reddit? Are you a Reddit person?
I'll go on Reddit randomly and for like 2 hours or 3 hours at a time.
You go down the rabbit.
So I don't go on often. But do I need to check out climbing Reddit?
Yes. So my number one climbing subreddit, I think they call them, is Climber Girls. And they call it Climber Girls, but it's like there's people of all genders in there. Oh, yeah. But it's the climbing Reddit that I found that's like the most supporting and uplifting. I find that some of them, climbing Reddit, it can be a little bit like
talk down. Yeah. A little like I'm kind of
a bit like there's a bit of if you can't climb certain grades, or if you are maybe newer and a little bit less knowledgeable and you're like asking a genuine question, it seems like in some of the other subreddits, like people are a lot quicker to make fun of you, maybe even when it's not warranted, which like I'm all for the jokes. There's a subreddit called Climbing Circle Jerk. Yeah. This is where the pod gets un-PG, but that's the thread where people just like memes and jokes and just like making fun, like so in
you know, people
like today,
are joking.
For example, today someone had accidentally taken a picture of Adam Andra, and at the bottom it was like someone that clearly didn't know climbing. They had put young lady climbing on climbing wall, wearing like it was the alternate text, you know, and it was like wearing sports attire, and someone commented underneath it. It was like, Madam Andra. Instead of Adam Andra.
Yes! What a good play on words.
And it had like so many awards. I don't really know how the awards work, but
yeah.
it had
or how
so
you
many.
Vote, people voted up.
It was
I know
very
you can vote
upvoted,
up.
and it was very disturbing. Madam Andra.
Like, the way people think of that stuff, you know it was just randomly, like, someone's driving their car, or they're, like, taking their trash out, and they think of it. They're like, I gotta put this on Reddit.
I gotta put this on Reddit.
They're gonna eat this up on Reddit, like... Definitely.
Yeah, Reddit's a cool place. I also saw some gyms, they put up outside climbing walls, like on the outsides of their buildings.
Okay.
And so they have, like, you know, some top ropes and auto belays.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure they, like, take the ropes and auto belays
Yeah,
down
and
at
then-
night so
yeah.
people don't...
Just get up there. That's
Yeah.
true.
But, like, I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
I think I've seen that before. I think I was watching some climbing YouTube, and whatever gym it was, they had, like, outdoor walls, like, on the side. Obviously, like, the whole space, the whole building was built for climbing. But I was like, that's such a smart idea. Like,
Why
if you
not
want
use
to
that
be
space?
outside, yeah. Especially if it's going to be so nice, like, when it's not too hot out, like it is right now. But that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
They put everything else outside, like, during the pandemic
Yeah,
and
restaurants, and they
That's
started letting you bring your dog. Did you take Benny to any...
Benny went to so many restaurants.
Did he?
Yes.
Anna has the cutest dog.
Yes.
She sends me snaps every like almost every morning of her dog Benny.
It's just him. Yeah, he's cute. He's like 5. He's a little pitty. He's a little chunky. I call him a hippo. But
you called him a corn dog one day.
yes.
She was
he's
like, just here brushing the corn dog.
He's like the color of a perfectly crispy corn dog, like from the fair. Like when it comes right out. Oh man. Yep. That's his color. Corn dog, crispy corn
dog brown.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true, you're not wrong. That's exactly
It's the
his
perfect
color.
shade of corn dog you would want to eat.
But he went to restaurants?
Yes. Took him places, and they, like, the service for dogs absolutely outweighs the service for humans. Like, Benny, we would literally, like, walk in the door, they're like, oh, here's his 2 strips of bacon, here's his water bowl, like,
Can
some
I
extra
take your
treats.
coat, sir?
Yeah, wait, let's hang your leash up. Like, I was
Wow.
like, this is amazing.
That's fancy.
So yeah, he loves the restaurants, loves a good patio beer, you know, who doesn't?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I just started working this, like, I guess I've been working there like a year and a half now, but I work at a homebrew supply store, you know that, and I really have grown to love beer, which segues perfectly into, let's talk a little bit about who's supporting the pod.
Yeah.
Who's
who
supporting
is?
Crag Chat. What we've been drinking is Athletic Brewing. It's a non-alcoholic beer. So basically what they do is they brew the beer like you would any normal beer, but then there's some sort of process that removes all the alcohol, mostly all the alcohol. It says that it's less than 0.5% alcohol. But it tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes just like a beer, if not lighter than a beer, which I kind of like.
Right, and this is the Upside Dawn, which is their golden ale. They also have an IPA, they have like a darker one, I forget the name on that. And then they have like different limited edition ones, like they just came out with a lemon shandy. They have like they had a raspberry ale. Yeah, right?
Yes.
And the reason that I originally started drinking this is because they sponsor pro climber Alex Johnson.
Okay.
And she is a really cool climber. She's a boulderer. And they sponsor her, and they came out with a pride themed beer for her. And I mean, I think it was mostly for her, but for her and her girlfriend, wife.
Yeah.
And she got to help them craft that beer
That's so
idea.
Cool.
So
like what the flavor wanted to be.
Yeah.
And
the
can.
name and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really cool. And the name, this sucks because I should know it, but the name was based on one of her climbs that she did as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So
like one of the routes.
Yeah, yeah. And she actually, so one of the coolest things that Alex Johnson did that I mean, she's done a bunch of cool stuff, but one thing that stood out to me is she had this goal where she just wanted to climb 100 V10s. Like, she just, like, set out to climb 100 of them. And it's just so incredible to me to think, like, I would like to climb one V10.
Just like half of one, maybe.
Half of one. I'll take a V5.
Yeah. No, I mean like half the route. But also that.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to hang on to the starting holds. Yes. That'd be great.
Yes.
But yeah, so the podcast is supported by Athletic Brewing, and if you want to get 20% off your first purchase, you can use code CourtneyS20 at checkout, and I'll put that in like the show description so that people can go buy it if they're interested.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about it is I didn't really start drinking a lot till this past year. I really didn't. And then the more I get into it, the more beers I want to try, right? And when you go out, you can't try everything and still stay coherent. Let alone, like, it screws your climbing. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever, like, went out and drank the night before, and it might be different for different people.
You don't feel the same. Your focus is the same, that's for sure. You're like, oh, I gotta hang on to this wall? Like... Yeah.
Well, and it's dangerous. The nice thing about this, too, is, like, you can take it out to the Crag. Yeah. And you can be drinking it, like, in between belaying or, like, you know, you can be drinking it while you're still actively climbing, and it's not gonna affect you.
Yes. You'll feel the same.
'Cause that's...
And it tastes, like I said, it tastes even lighter. Like, the end taste of it, it doesn't... Like, I feel like I could drink 3 of these and not... Yeah. I wouldn't even feel, full.
I think this particular one is 50 calories per can, too.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah. Which is...
I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it literally has. It even tells you what's in it.
I'm all about it. They also give 2% of all sales go back to restoring local trails. Oh. So that is huge for the climbing community because we're always hiking in on trails. It'd be cool to know, like, how that money is being used, like, specifically to restore trails. I wonder if it's...
Oh, I'm sure I bet it's on the website.
I'm sure it is.
Athleticbrewing.com.
They just recently, I just recently applied for their ambassador program and got accepted. Super stoked about it. And their customer service, I guess I'll say, the people that I've been in contact with have been the nicest people helping me out getting started, so.
Well, that's good to hear.
I feel like it's something that I really believe in, and I get to help support it and promote it.
It pairs nicely with your life.
I would never just promote a product that I was like, this is...
Yeah, whatever.
Seems good.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think with that, we should wrap up the first episode of...
Crag Chat.
And, yeah, I don't know what the rest of this is going to be, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, me too.
Once a month. This episode will go out on Monday. So this will be the episode for August, and then...
I guess so.
Yeah, moving on to September. The next episode is going to be a fun one. So we've talked about this a bit already. What would be your ideal gym? Like, what would you put in your ideal climbing gym?
Like your dream.
Your dream gym. So if you have any ideas on what you want to put in your ideal climbing gym, email us at courtclimbs@gmail.com. And we would love to hear from you and read your comments.
Yes.
Read your comments on the pad.
Yeah.
Before we go, have you ever listened to Bad Beta Podcast?
Yes.
They just put out, they're putting out a new episode.
I was wondering.
It's been like months.
It's been since last May.
It's been years.
I'm pretty sure. When everything started shutting down is when they stopped.
Been a hot minute.
And I was like, wait, are they gonna come back with another show?
Are they gonna be back? There's a bunch of memes about it, like, are they gonna be back?
I didn't realize. I was going down the episodes, like, I was going strong because you told me about it.
I did.
And then all of a sudden it ended, and I was like, these episodes are from a year ago.
You're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Well, the answer, listen to Crag Chat.
Yeah.
While you're waiting.
While you're
waiting for the Bad Beta Podcast, just listen to Crag Chat.
Just come on over.
Sweet. Well, this has been episode 1.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Episode
Cheers.
1 in the books.
And we'll see you next time on Crag Chat.
Crag Chat.
Thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of Crag Chat. And don't forget, you can use code CourtneyS20 for 20% off your first purchase at athleticbrewing.com. Thanks, and stay hyped.